So I've been talking about fractures and dislocations in football, and one of the things that I wanted to point out that's a big problem is this issue of neglected fractures or dislocations. So in other words, there's a fracture or dislocation that may have been reduced, and it may be recognized that there's a problem, that this is an issue. But the playoffs are coming, the championship is coming. You have these games, you have a season. A scout might be coming to, see, watch your game, and you may have a big opportunity. And so there are all these reasons why someone doesn't get these things treated appropriately early. I would point you to make an observation of the football commentators, and when they're talking and they have their hands kind of in front of them, look at their fingers. And you look at their fingers, and a lot of times, I mean, they literally might be pointing 90 degrees in the other direction. And you also can see this in lower extremity. You can see some of these players walking around, their knee, have a deformity of their knees and things of that nature. And so these things are the result not only of injuries and then proper treatment of the injuries, but in many cases, I find that these are results of neglected injuries, meaning that things that are kind of put off down the road. And so the only thing I would say to that, and counsel young players in particular, it's a little bit harder for professional players because there's so much money involved, but to just think about the long term and just take a step back and think of the long term picture of playing at a high level for a long period of time. Definitely, it's position dependent. What injuries can really affect you, but that's the view that I take. It's the long term view, and neglecting something always makes it harder to treat. It makes it something that down the road, sometimes these things are like just not treatable after a certain point in time. And I have this discussion with parents and athletes as well. So consider that it's the long-term effects, and so getting these things treated, not neglecting them, is the right thing to do.